It's done. Then we have metal with a bone. And that is a bone.
Well, in 2017, Tammy Goff was reported missing from Great Falls. Search crews searched for weeks but had no luck in finding her. And now 3 years later,
we couldn't let go of the clue of Sadie. Sadie was seen within a quarter mile, half mile stretch for almost 24 hours is where she was spotted, and in the water, pacing, nervous. It's like, that is exactly what it is we've been looking for. And so, here's where we're at.
Great Falls, Montana, we're looking for Tammy Goff, who went missing back in 2018. Now, the strange thing about this story is that Sadie, her dog, her best friend in the whole entire world, ended up leaving the house with her that morning, and 2 days later was found swimming the river to get to these two dogs. This is one episode you are not going to want to miss. What we are really hung up on is, yesterday we've got Bob's house, Bob and Tammy's house. We've got the house that we're in right now. We've got the cell phone pings, the yellow ones. We also had another cell phone ping over here that's not on the map. And then we have the areas of interest for Bob that we went and hit. And then we have the dog, just the heavy concentration of the dog.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
the main part of this.
I can't get the dog out of my head, but like you said, is it a decoy? And that would make sense, just, I don't know.
I want the dog taken care of. But if you want the dog taken care of, why did we not just leave the dog home that morning? And where's the cat?
Yeah, what happened to the cat?
Yeah. I mean, nobody had any sightings of the cat at all. So with this one, where does that leave us this morning? Well, I think that coming back to what we know that normally somebody is found within 5 miles of their home. So let's finish tightening up and really search the 5 miles close to home for access points. And so with that one, I know that we've got a boat ramp here. We've got along River Road here by the water treatment plant where you could accidentally go off. So we're looking at this two ways. Is this an accident or was this an intentional?
Yeah.
But why the dog down here?
And the dog wasn't a swimming dog, and it was said that it was swimming.
On day two. On day two, the dog swam across the river.
Yeah.
And the dog was completely exhausted. And then we wrapped up late last night by driving down to, down here when we ended up getting held on. And, and that one just became a big stretch. One, because of the distance, but also because, if you saw that one, the number of boats already just in May on a weekday. This is in June, July, when a lot more river drifting boats are down there. Like, it's just like bumper to bumper down there.
Heavy traffic.
So we're not dealing with a heavy traffic area. So that's why we took that one off the list last night. So let's jump over the Google Maps. Let's talk about that. We're going to talk more to Bob. We've got Katie and Jim that are here as well. And we're just getting game plan this with a new search today. Yep. We're coming in, we got a great night's sleep last night, and we're ready to hit the day on that one. Lucky for us today, we've got Katie and Jim here. So you were looking at maps last night, and so kind of put us into the mind of what you feel may have happened.
I was thinking that she got rid of Sadie, made her safe, left the dog.
Okay, so with that, why would she not have left the dog just home with Bob?
Because then he would have known something was up, and it gave her time.
Okay.
So, or maybe while she was out, that's when she started the thought process of now, today, this is what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's when the switch, flipped, and, maybe she, hadn't decided when she left her house, but when she got here. Maybe that's when she found something with the cat. That she got here and maybe something was wrong with the cat. She took the cat, and then she's like, I want to leave the dog. Took off with the cat, whatever. That's when her, so she left the dog, but then she went somewhere else altogether. Not down where the dog was at.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. In my thought process, I would go to a whole other place. Somewhere where they wouldn't be looking for me. Somewhere further from the dog. Because they'd be looking where the dog's at.
Right.
That's just where the people that I know, my family, would be looking there. Because that's where the dog was.
Well, and that's where
So-
we're looking too. So yeah,
Right, yeah,
we're all
you know,
thinking the
dogs,
same right now.
you know, I'm like in the Sun River, I'm like in that pond.
Do you think we need to scan the Sun River? Because I mean, it's not that far for us from the boat ramp to actually just
Yeah,
run
to
the
go
river.
up that way. I don't know, yeah, I would think so, and it's only that pond. Cause the Sun River too is right near the airport, and there was a ping at the airport with your
Right.
cell phone.
Which brings us over to the pond and Sun River.
Right,
And I didn't even think about that. Like she come over, was the cat sick and dead that morning?
right,
You know,
and
because
that may have been the trigger that set it
because
off.
the cat is 16 years old, and so was it she was taking the cat with her, like we're all going out together, or was it oh, the cat's now gone. Now this is one less thing in my life that I have to worry about,
Yeah,
or that Bob would have to worry about if I was to
yeah.
leave behind. Which brings us to you, Bob. Like after day one, what are your thoughts and your feelings and what we've covered? And then just, you know, you kind of said just having us here has been therapy for you.
Well, I like your approach, Jared. You know that what we did yesterday was just a review of what I've been doing for the 147 weeks that since Tammy's been gone, and but that nothing has worked there then. So I appreciate that you kind of looked at what I've done for this time, but then also I'm hoping that you're coming in with a fresh set of eyes and a new approach and taking me out of my comfort zone and just saying, the dog was here, so she must be that direction or whatever. Is that we might be better off just going back to the start and just saying, hey, we're focusing too much on the little information that we had, and none of that's worked. So let's look at places that I haven't even thought of, or reasons that I haven't thought of. So that's what I'm excited about for your visit here. So it's,
Who is Tammy as a person? Where did the two of you first meet? And tell us a little bit more about, your relationship over the years. And I mean, 42 years. I mean, that means that you liked each other. You guys did things together. So
high school sweethearts, got married right out of high school when we were both 18. We called it Christmas in July. We had both of our birthdays, our wedding anniversary, all these things that happened in July. Even though you lived with somebody for all those years, she had, things that I didn't know, the things that, it'd be like girl talk or whatever that you'd hear about afterwards. There's just certain things that you think that just because you know somebody for all the years that you know everything about them. That just isn't the case. But that I do know that she, the life of the party, everybody loved being around her, but that she had, issues that she kept inside of her. She had issues and went out, was just having trouble dealing with them. So just the more I've been thinking about with this in the past, it does help me to talk about this stuff. And even just in one day since you've been here, just to kind of, it's hard to discuss that with family and friends, more or less, with your audience here then. But I feel that's important. Us as a family looking for closure would just be, what truly happened with her. But, we can just, the way I look at it is that I just enjoyed a great life with Tammy up to this point. I wish I could continue it on. So, sorry.
you got it right.
Yeah, sorry. But I just, I just been kind of the lead on all this for the last, and it's like we talked about, that comfort zone, kind of out of my comfort zone to take a step back. But I understand this whole situation, needs to have a fresh approach. So that's what I'm hoping will start today, and go that route.
Well, we shouldn't need your boat today, so jump in the RV with us and
Great.
let's go for a ride.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Location number 1 is the park, Bayview Park? I already forgot the name of the park.
What's the name?
Anyway, it's the closest boat ramp to Tammy's house as well as the dad's house that we were at. Nobody that we know of now has ever searched from the boat ramp up. It's always been like put in, and the focus has always been that way. So we're gonna clear this area right here to the north, and then we're gonna jet down to Knockout down there by the water treatment plant, Doug. And then from there, we're going to then cut into Sun River. I'm taking Jim with me today. And for those of you who may have skipped and missed yesterday's video, let me introduce you to Jim as well as Katie. Go ahead and come back over here. You met Katie this morning if it was your very first time. The two of them, married, incredible couple. Kind of tell us about your organization and the things you guys have done over the years.
Well, like I said, I'm Jim Collins. I'm on 2 search and rescue teams with Anaconda and Ruby Valley. Also got my own company as Rocky Mountain Diver Search and Recovery. And we work with Glenn and Karen McKenna on diving and just kind of locating everything in the area that we can. We dive for anybody that really wants us to. We've been hired before to go search and find things, or even go with the record companies to pull cars up out of lakes and stuff here the last couple of years.
Jim, you're not gonna believe what I just saw. Explain this one to me. Go ahead, just turn, gaze, and give me your thoughts on what you see out here. Oh, there's more than one.
Bicycles on a log out in the middle of a river.
Not just there.
Sitting them up.
I didn't even see those ones. But look at the one behind you as well.
Oh, yeah, there's 3 over there.
So is this like art?
Around here, I've seen some strange things for art up here in Great Falls before, so I wouldn't doubt it.
All right, that's cool. I've never seen such a thing. So we're probably a half mile to 3/4 of a mile from where we started right now. We came up this little slough called Sun River, and not all of it we need to search, so we were able to like do a lot of cruising. But what we are interested in is coming up next to this bridge. There's some access points that, it's kind of hidden, kind of secluded, and that's what we're looking for, are where there's no foliage, where there's access points, and where it's kind of secluded. So we're gonna do a little bit of scanning on both sides of this bridge, and then we're gonna head up just a little bit further for another access point that we're interested in. All right, so we're now out of Sun River, which is over there. So we started at the boat ramp, we did all Sun River, we're now at the water treatment plant. This is the first of a few little access points. If again, we're treating this as an accident, you come around the corner here, you can come off right here into the water. So we're gonna search this area here, and then there's going to be 2 or 3 more access points down around the corner that we're gonna end up searching.
Wear a life jacket. No matter how experienced of a swimmer you are, no matter how strong you are, you always need a life jacket.
See what I'm looking at right down there? Got some like a square right there. I think I want to just kind of go over that one more time just to double check that. The structure is only showing that it's sticking up a foot. It's not. Definitely not a car. So we made it down to the other end of this pond. I'm actually seeing that here at the other end it's about 5 feet right on the edge. We're about 75 feet out. There was a small area along there where it did get deeper. It got down to about 14, but that was really quick. We're gonna start working our way in towards the middle because sometimes cars, they do hit and they float. So we're gonna start working our way in as we go and make a, kind of like a cinnamon roll type of box square shape. I don't know what you'd call that, but start working our way in. Right, so so we got this parking lot right here, and I did see a shape. We're gonna go back over that. I'm seeing a couple of shapes. They don't look like they're big enough to be cars. Doug, I'm gonna tell you now that there is cause for concern. Why don't you come peek over here? Yeah, so I'm not sure. I want to make sure to hit that at a couple different angles. We're right here by the parking lot. The parking lot's right there. Just off of this picnic bench here.
Yeah, it's only 2 feet tall.
2 feet tall?
For that. Off to the right there still. And I have shadows here. Here's the thing. Like you said, it could be a set of pallets, and a lot of fishermen will throw things like that in here, so that way they can come back and fish that spot.
Yeah, it tracks the fish.
Yep. All right, it's 2.5 feet tall.
Definitely not tall enough.
Yeah, it's also not wide enough either. It's gonna take us back down where the dog was at. I think there's one location further south along the river that we want to go check that one out. Once we do that, then we start moving inland from the river and start checking some more ponds over there.
Yeah, we didn't see anything.
It gets real shallow.
Oh, super
up in
shallow.
there. Yeah, I mean,
I'd say the the overall average feet was probably like 3 to 4 feet. We only found like one really deep pocket, got to like 28. But for the most part, it's super shallow.
These are the dogs that were actually, barking, that Sadie had actually, recognized and knew this property because they would come over this property. So that's what brings us over to this side of the river. And for a dog to swim the width of this river after 2 days of being spotted on the other side, I mean, just so much. None of this makes sense, Doug.
I don't know. None of it makes sense.
Something we keep being drawn to, why was Sadie here? And with that, the way that Tex was acting right now.
Yeah, the little speckled dog was going pretty crazy over there.
Yeah, almost like the dog's never been in the water, but almost like the dog was like, hey, I know something's out there. Sadie was swimming the river here. Sadie wanted to get over here. I don't have the answer. For some reason, maybe all speculation, was Tammy on this side. Vehicle goes in. Sadie ends up in the river, disoriented, swims to the other side, is seen on the other side for the next 2 days, and then finally makes the attempt to swim back over the river when Sadie's found the following day.
Yeah, so I don't know.
And like these two dogs also know and are a part of it.
Yeah, well, you ran that side, we ran this side, so maybe we need to zigzag just right around here a little bit, across the middle.
I think we have to rule it out.
All right,
100%.
Yeah.
All right, so right now, Doug, we're down 7, 8 houses. Yeah. Which is what Bob was saying. About 8 houses down is where Sadie was put in the garage and then put on Facebook, lost and found. So right now, we're still at 9 feet here, plus the river was up another 5 feet or so.
Yeah. Definitely fits in towards the statement that she had expressed to someone where she knew she found where 15 feet of water was, where she wouldn't be found.
At the time, yeah. It was 15 feet, yeah. Right here, Doug, I have something that is 4 feet tall. I'm trying to get a read on it as to how long it is. Right now, it is 4 feet tall. I can't tell what it is. It's got a square shape to it, but I can't pick up any windows or... Alright, so it's 17 feet deep right here. And it's right here. And if you look at it, that is roughly 12 feet long, roughly 3, 4 feet tall. Okay, we're that far out, so triangulate me. I'm right there across from that, kind of right in line with that. We're right over the top of it.
There's a magnet at.
Yeah, throw the magnet. Let's just see if it's magnetized. Yeah, you're dropping right down. So you should be right on it right now. I want to know if you lock onto anything. It's 1, 9, 10, 11, 12 feet. Just bouncing? No lock?
No lock. I'm not on anything though. I feel soft bottom.
Okay, so I'm dragging you right dead center over the top of it right now.
I wasn't on the ground.
Okay, so you're pulling, but it's pulling off.
It's magnet.
Huh?
It's magnet. Feel that. It's magnet. It's stuck.
No, that's not metal. It's just like an old dock. So what's happening is that you're just dragging to the edge, it's catching this edge, and then we're pulling off the edge.
Okay.
Like if it was metal, like we would pull and it would lock on and it would not move. Yeah, it's an old dock. Well, hold on. I think we got a bone in here. You know we have metal with a bone. Okay, well let's go over it again. And that is a bone. We're right on it right now. Yeah, I mean you got nothing on that one. It doesn't have the shape of a vehicle. Like, is that a windshield? I don't know, Doug. Let's put the magnet back down there again. So do it again and I'll show people your magnet. So that's the magnet bouncing. Bounce, bounce, yep. Nice and shiny. You should be hitting it right now. You should be making contact, so you should feel it. But what I'm looking at is something underneath of it is kind of my concern as well as, you know, the river sand, 3 years, something else running into it possibly, and jamming everything up.
Yep.
And you're off of it now.
Yeah.
95, 98% ruling it out.
I like that.
In there, there's an object that is, you know, 6 to 7 feet wide, 9 to 10 feet long. However, it doesn't have any shape of, you know, a vehicle, in my opinion. We went over it several times. What was really strange about it, though, is, you know, we did drop the magnet on it several times, and in doing so, it was never a solid lock, like a piece of, like a vehicle would for the metal or for the magnet. But what was really weird was not just the piece of metal, but look at that. Ooh, actually ended up with a bone that we brought up that was wedged into the metal with this attached to the magnet and everything that we brought up. So I'm not saying that has anything to do with Tammy. I'm just saying that we found a bone with a piece of metal on an object in a deep hole, but I don't believe it to be a vehicle. So where that puts us now, Bob, is that I think that, you know, going into day 3, I think that we need to, let's go ahead and meet up with the sheriff tomorrow. I think that tomorrow also, you know, we want to, the reason why we record these is so we can continue to put the message out there as well. I mean, that's the big thing, is Jared, we want to keep Tammy alive in this until she's found. And with that, let's bring the media into it. You know, we kind of talked about that on day 1, but I don't think that on day 1 it was quite the right time yet, because we'd not, you know, even gotten a feel for the area yet. So now that we have 2 full days in, let's bring as much coverage to this, you know, so that way we'll be like, hey, you know what? Jared and Sam are in the area right now. Doug's in the area. Do we have a big search going on? Who else may have, you know, let's put that reminder out there, because somebody 3 years ago and somebody a year ago may never have even seen or heard anything on the news about it. Mm-hmm. And so we may be able to
totally
trigger
agree.
somebody.
Yeah, right. You know, that was my hope out of your visit here. You know, the dream was to be able to find Tammy, but if we couldn't find her, at least to generate some publicity and to encourage people to be aware that, you know, 2.5 years later here, you know, I see people, oh, you never found your wife, you know, so just to make sure that we keep that search and that thought alive in the community, and then hopefully that somebody that wasn't aware even before would speak up, and maybe all we're just looking for is just something, you know, the phone call that, you know, I don't know if this means anything, but, you know, it would be enough just to send us down the right trail. You know, we just have these assumptions is all we're dealing with right now, or what we think happened, instead of having some evidence of this is the direction she went, this is you know, what might have happened, and we just don't have any of that. So hopefully, you know, if we can't find, you know, if the sheriff's department, they can give us maybe some other guidance of their past history, or, you know, yeah, it's that's what really I was hoping. I think that's a great idea with the media and the publicity then.
Yep, and then in addition to that, you know, if you have any additional family members that would love to, you know, come, you know, if there's something that maybe, you know, that you've heard their stories, but we've not heard their stories. So maybe for us, it's gonna be like, oh, maybe we should go check there.
Yeah, they'd love to be involved, and we just been kind of hoping to not interfere with the search up to this point. But yeah, they'd
Bring them over tonight. Bring them over tomorrow. Let's continue to get them involved.
I'll let them know that we want them involved, and we'll just see how.
Those of you who have not done so already, you are a part of Adventure with Purpose. So, just being here, watching, liking, subscribing, and sharing, it means the world to us. On that note, we'll be back tomorrow for day number 3. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. We also had another self-moving over here that's not on the map. And then we have the... That's my next goal with all this. Yeah. And then we have the dog, just the heavy concept right over the top of it here. In fact, I'm going to go right now and we'll kind of timeline as well.
So what I'm seeing, Doug, is now that we're over here.
And I take a look as you're going around though, there might be some areas on the other side of the lake. And the big thing too, like taking a look across the lake here, like you have the bluff, the ledge, coming off of that as opposed to more of a driving in. Like this on the side.